Hey there, everybody. This is Saje from Fandom City, and we have another update for you on Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. I'm going to warn you right off the top, this is spoiler heavy, extremely spoiler heavy. If you don't want to be spoiled, you need to tune out of this video now. So on this YouTube video, we're going to talk about the first act of The Rise of Skywalker, which may not pertain everything, but it does have most of what we believe is the first act. These spoilers have been brought to us by Jedi Paxis, and seems like they've been confirmed to some degree from Jason from Making Star Wars alongside Bespin Bulletin. Again, we're going to be going over the first act of The Rise of Skywalker, and there are a lot of details and spoilers in this first act. So let's dive right into it. The movie starts off just after the events of Return of the Jedi. Luke Skywalker, in his Return of the Jedi-like appearance, is training Leia. In this scene, Leia reveals she's pregnant with Ben Solo and will be ending her Jedi training. The movie skips forward to the current time where we see Leia taking on Luke's role as Master, training Rey. Meanwhile, Kylo Ren appears to be now aware that there was a dark power behind his predecessor and former master, Snoke. Kylo Ren has spent most of the last year plus trying to find this power. General Hux and Pride have been following Kylo Ren on his quest for this power, which they see as a fool's errand and a waste of First Order resources. Kylo Ren leads an attack on a forest planet in search of Darth Vader's Wayfinder device. Kylo ends up successful in his search, retrieving it from a being known as the Oracle. The Wayfinder reveals coordinates to a location in the unknown regions, which Kylo believes will reveal the source of Snoke's power. Meanwhile, Finn and Poe are on the Falcon alongside a slew of unfamiliar alien characters. They are traveling to an icy asteroid base. I don't know about you guys, but the idea of the appearance of an icy asteroid base could be visually stunning. I'm definitely up for that. But yes, they travel to the icy asteroid base to meet with a First Order informant. The informant is an alien acting as a middleman between the First Order and the Rebellion, or the Resistance, depending on what they end up being referred to in this movie. The First Order arrives and begins an onslaught on our heroes. Our heroes escape narrowly by jumping to light speed. The Falcon does a handful of these jumps in order to throw the First Order off, but are left to deal with the consequences of these maneuvers. No further explanation there. This is where stuff really starts to get good, and for some people they're going to love it, and for a lot of people maybe not so much. With Kylo Ren now in possession of Darth Vader's Wayfinder device, he makes his way to a planet in the unknown regions known as Exegol. Kylo lands just outside this giant cube that's floating above the ground. He reaches its center to find a lift leading below the planet's surface. Kylo Ren exits the lift to find a very old man, basically on his deathbed, being attended to by his cloaked aides. These aides might be called Sith Loyalist. We'll have to see. The old man introduces himself as Darth Sidious. Kylo is quick to dismiss this, though, as he knows his grandfather killed Sidious more than 30 years ago. Above the forest moon of Endor, Kylo believes there must be another explanation, a clone possibly. Palpatine dismisses the notion and says he survived the events above Endor and escaped to the unknown regions to begin building his new empire. Despite his skepticism, Kylo is quickly being reeled in by Palpatine. Sidious begins to tell Kylo about a Force dyad, which is when the Force produces two incredibly strong Force users who, when united, can wield power that's unmatchable. Palpatine believes Kylo and Ren are these two Kylo and Rey, not Kylo and Ren, are these two Force users. Palpatine explains to Kylo he's dying and he's in search of this dyad so they can take his rule of his new empire once he's gone. Palpatine orders Kylo to bring Rey to him so the ritual can be complete. Palpatine reveals that Palpatine reveals to Kylo that he's been amassing an armada of Star Destroyers equipped with Death Star tech. Hux and Pride are tasked with raising an army. Now, this makes me question if the Sith troopers that we see exist prior to this or they exist after that. This makes it sound like it exists after that. And I feel like the indication we got prior to that was they already existed, but maybe the only thing that exists are the armada of Star Destroyers and the Sith Loyalists. And the reason for the red armor is to, one, support the Sith, and two, people were like, oh, well, how do the Sith troopers have the same helmets and essentially battle gear that the First Order has if they've been gone for 30 years? Well, this possibly clears that up. Maybe they haven't been gone for 30 years, and that, these Sith troopers are essentially just First Order troopers dressed like Sith to crew these Star Destroyers that Palpatine has put together. Anyways, let's continue on. Finn and Poe arrive at the jungle planet to bring Leia the knowledge they learned from the informant. They reveal what they know of Kylo's mission to the unknown regions, but don't know how he got there. Seemingly at a dead end, Leia reveals she has a contact on Pisana who was seeking a link to the unknown regions a long time ago and may be able to help. Leia dispatches Rey, Finn, Poe, Chewie, BB-8, and 3PO to Pisana. The one thing that's clear, and as I read you this, the Act 2 is actually out too. If you search on the internet, you can find it. But we're just discussing Act 1 today. The one thing that's clear from all this is a character that seems to be missing is R2-D2. Obviously, he's going to be there somewhere, but I feel like R2 is getting shafted again, and that doesn't sit well with me. Once our heroes arrive on Pisana, they discover a giant festival is underway, and this may not be as easy of a mission as they once thought. Rey encounters an alien in the crowd that takes a liking to her. The alien asks her name. She says her name is Rey, but the alien, for whatever reason, wants to know her family name, and Rey said she doesn't have one. Not too much time passes when Kylo Ren establishes a connection with Rey through the Force, like we've seen in The Last Jedi. The convo ends with Kylo grabbing her necklace through the Force, with the necklace becoming the key to finding the rebels. Rey warns the others that the First Order is on the way and they have to hurry. The contact finds them by spotting a Wookiee who he used to call a friend. It's none other than Lando Calrissian. Lando informs the rebels of a dagger that may help them find what they seek. Years prior, Lando and Luke went on a quest to find this same dagger. The dagger was owned by a Sith loyalist named Ochi. Luke and Lando tracked Ochi to Pisana, where the trail turned cold. When asked why Lando never left the planet after the trail went cold, Lando reveals he had a young child at the time when they were out on their quest. His child was kidnapped by the First Order. Lando's story strikes a chord with Finn, who was also taken from his family. Lando points our heroes in the direction of Ochi's ship, but says he's going to sit this adventure out. Once our heroes reach the ship, the same ship seen leaving Rey on Jakku in The Force Awakens, Rey recalls having memories of being left behind by the ship. Before this revelation can fully sink in, though, the ground beneath our heroes caves in. They find themselves in a series of underground tunnels where they find the remains of Ochi and the dagger Luke and Lando once sought. Rey feels an extremely strong connection to the dagger, but can't figure out why. The dagger contains language on it that nobody can decipher, but 3PO notes it's a Sith language, but he cannot just transcribe it due to a programming restriction. Find that interesting. At this point, our heroes come up with a plan to get past this restriction. Poe might have a contact who can help. Before our heroes can escape the caves, they are trapped by a giant worm monster. The worm monster gets the upper hand and backs our heroes into a corner, ultimately facing death until Rey notices the worm is injured. So Rey somehow heals the worm, giving our heroes a chance to escape. Upon escaping the caves, they find the First Order Star Destroyer. Kylo Ren has found them. The heroes correctly assume the First Order must have found the Falcon. They need a new way off this planet. The crew decides to see if they can get Ochi's ship working. Rey senses Kylo near, and so she goes to confront him. This is the scene from the first trailer we got of Rey jumping over Kylo's ship. Eventually, a duel happens between the two. The Knights of Ren, alongside the First Order, pursue the rest of our heroes. Chewie splits up from the group to try to delay them. However, Chewie is captured. He's taken aboard a transport. But as this ship, aka transport, is taking off, Rey uses the Force to reach out and grab it. Very similar to like Darth Vader in The Force Unleashed 2. And Kylo attempts to stop this by pushing the ship away. Kylo gains the upper hand, and Rey becomes frustrated and angry and accidentally, quotations, accidentally, fires force lightning from her fingertips, causing the ship to crash, and essentially it gets destroyed and kills everyone on board. We believe, just so everyone's aware, that this is a misdirect and Chewie wasn't actually on that particular transport. Devastated by what she's done, though, thinking she's killed Chewie, Rey collapses. Finn and the others are able to pick up Rey, a distressed Rey, on Ochi's ship, which they've got working. And this is apparently the end of the first act of the Rise of Skywalker. The first thing that comes to mind to me here is this feels very Indiana Jones-like. A lot is happening. We're getting Sidious / Palpatine, not only in the flesh, which we've reported before, but very early in this movie. So it's pretty easy to see why this movie might be 2 hours and 45 minutes. Like that's a lot to happen, and that's probably not everything. There's probably some scenes missing in there. But in terms of the first act of the Rise of Skywalker, everybody, what do you think? Comment below. Do you like the first act of the Rise of Skywalker? Remind you, these are just rumors, although we do believe these are probably 95% true given who the source is. If this is the Rise of Skywalker's first act, are you okay with it? Do you want to see some things change? What are your feelings with this? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to know what you think. Also, don't forget you can tune into our live podcast Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. That's Fandom City Pod. We also have Halloween Talk if you're a Halloween fan. You can check us out on Twitter at Fandom City Pod. Same thing for Instagram, or you can check us out on Facebook, Fandom City. Yeah, we will see all of you next time.
Grammarly